Thank you. I haven't done anything yet. Okay, hi, I'm Cliff Harris, Cliffski. I did Democracy 3, Gratuitous Space Battles, stuff like that. I didn't know what to talk about, and I had a few kind of ideas, which I rejected. One is shut the fuck up about elves, which was just a rant about cliche. But I thought that might be a bit controversial. So this was my other idea. Yeah, bring it on. I don't actually particularly like Sarah Palin, but I had this whole kind of like political thing about if I did, I can still be an indie game developer. That's fine, surely. But I thought, you know, that would be taken the wrong way, and that would be like controversial. So I'm going with this. You don't scare me. So obviously I don't mean it. Obviously, I do mean it. I fucking hate it. I'm not actually saying that it's evil. Obviously, Unity is really good in all kinds of like wonderful ways, but I hate it. There are certain things about it that I think are negative, and I'm going to just like go through it. Moore's law. Okay, computers have got incredibly fast, ridiculously good at doing stuff. We can do incredible stuff these days, and the thing is, when I was a lot younger and first started playing games, I knew I'd be on stage at some point with a guitar and people would be like in awe. Back then, games looked like this, which this is a British game, but you know, I describe it as kind of like just shit, basically. It was a great game, but the look of it, that's all we could do. And my problem is that a lot of indie games, they still look like that. They still look exactly the same. And I get it. I understand that kind of like, you know, pixel art can be like an aesthetic choice and stuff like that. And now I regret not having a slide of Thomas Was Alone here. So if you can just imagine a lot of kind of repressed English rectangles at this point, you know, just imagine that. Just imagine that. But they don't have to look like that. You know, games, even indie games, can look like this. I don't know what game that is, but it just looks fucking. You know, it does look awesome. I am actually trying to make a sort of point that nobody cares about performance anymore in indie games. We kind of get a sort of free pass. We have to be really kind of edgy and cool and do all these kind of like innovative things because we're indies, but we never sort of innovate on performance. We don't spend all this time worrying about squeezing performance out of stuff. We just take Unity and that's fine. We never try and like push it and write our own engine or anything like that, unless you're nuts like me. I write my own engine, but you know, there you go. But there is another point that's got kind of like nothing to do with performance. And again, when I was young and cool and hip, this guy was my hero, as I'm sure he was to many people. No one here except me knows who that is today. Obviously, these days, you know, like this. Do you know who this guy is? I don't know. Yeah. Obviously, he's my hero now. But in between that, this guy was my hero. Okay, which is kind of, he's a bit of a dick, and my wife hates the fact that I would ever say he's my hero, but, you know, I'm going with it. It's Q from Star Trek, if you don't know. And one of the reasons for that is he had complete control over the entire universe of, like, everything. It was like a blank sheet of paper to him, and he could do whatever he wanted. And that used to be people like me. That used to be programmers, you know. There, Bill Gates is making a floppy disk just hover. Just using his coding skills. And we used to be like that because there was hardware and there was us, and we understood how it worked, and nobody else did. It was just like a kind of like magic box that they didn't understand, but we understood everything. And this is my kind of problem with middleware. I know not everyone feels this way, but suddenly we're not gods. We don't have complete control over the whole universe. We don't feel like we can master the bits and bytes. What we do is we just use stuff that other people have written. So we aren't all gods now, but there are gods, and we just license their engine. And, you know, in other words, we don't really care how stuff works as much as we used to. We don't have our curiosity about how that kind of thing works. And that makes me really sad. And that's what I look like when I'm sad. And that's sort of the end, as it were, but I didn't want to kind of like end on kind of like a downer and just being really negative. And it just occurred to me when I was sort of throwing the thing together, especially I had a cat that was run over because it was too curious, and it went out into the road, and it was very sad. So that's not funny. Seriously, that's not funny. So, like, curiosity kills cats, as we know, and you can kind of do the maths yourself. So if Unity is killing curiosity, it's saving cats. So on the one hand, we have the fact that, I think it's completely destroying modern programming and kind of wrecking the whole industry. But then cats. That's it.